Trying to frame and film this video in such a way as to highlight what is in need of such was honestly quite difficult. But looking back, it really wasn't. I just wish to show the potential power of a new mechanic, but also share the very real overall faults. So then I just said, why not just talk about it? Wigfrid's Startling Soliloquy, a battle song added in the Wigfrid Rework update, may honestly be the best ballad that she knows, everyone. Because even though it doesn't actually work on bosses, it actually indirectly works on bosses. Well, a select couple, of course. But still, it's got me thinking, if Wigfrid's battle song buffs actually extend to the minions of the constant that can follow us, like Pigman or Bunnyman of course, which could actually be a topic for another video entirely, but what have you, in theory, could that same thing be applied to the minions of the biggest bad arounds, only, opposite? The Startling Soliloquy makes all nearby mobs outside of bosses de-aggro and panic for 4 seconds. But if you or a team of Wigfrids could actually keep up the song over and over, as again, it's not permanent, you have to sing it again and again at the cost of inspiration, what's to stop you from perma-stunning said minions? Oh yes, let's test. And starting with the Queen of all bees. And the Startling Soliloquy, folks, works absolute wonders against her onslaught of grumble bees, even when she ups their speed over and over again. In this particular attempt, I was the only Wigfrid using the song, and things just ran incredibly smoothly, even when I was telling people to fight her slower and even not kill the grumbles at all. So, I can totally imagine that with multiple alternating songs from various Wigfrids, it would just make the grumbles completely obsolete. This is phenomenal, as if the team also coordinates not to kill any of the said grumbles, eventually the queen won't be able to spawn anymore regardless, and you are home free. Cause she's a single target attacker. So in the end, sing it loud to beat her down. There are 2 problems though. I told people not to fight, and if we would've, none of this would have mattered. Yeah, that's kind of the overarching theme that we're gonna get to. But now, Evil Santa here is actually a very interesting one. For a few attempts, I tried to just simply stun his elemental deer before they got their attacks off. However, I couldn't really end their casting animations no matter how fast I did mine. They just casted right on through the de-aggro and then panicked afterwards. So then, that got us thinking, and we asked, why not just have the deer constantly panicked instead? Doing such with 1 Wigfrid doesn't seem feasible, but just 2 is enough. Simply have the Wigfrids do the tanking to gain the required inspiration in mere seconds every time, and the team won't even have to worry about a single elemental attack for the entire fight throughout both phases. Glorious, and kind of hilariously easy to do. And yes, the panic does actually work with the crap eye that spawn as well. Now this one, I can absolutely see the benefit of it. It's a very fun way to fight claws, very different, and that's the point. That's what I was hoping for out of the Wigfrid Rework. But again, if all my team was fighting, it wouldn't have mattered because we would have killed them fast enough for it to, again, not matter. And sadly, that is where the overall effectiveness of the Startling Soliloquy ends, everyone. And in more ways than one, too, which is way more telling of the Wigfrid Rework overall, but we're gonna get to that. For you see, we did visit the atrium to test whether or not we could actually delay the Fuel Weaver's healing phase by panicking the little creepy crawlies that spawned during the fight. But it was all of no use. The Woven Shadows aren't really considered mobs by the game, I suppose. So yeah, that would explain the song not working. But it's the thought that counts. How awesome would it be and so neat to have a better delay tactic, since Clay not only took away our edge camping technique for the Fuel Weaver, but also simply because it will give us another avenue of fighting in this game, apart from standing and delivering. Now, with the Fuel Weaver fight, I get it, there's more mechanics going into play, but everyone always does the same thing now. Why not allow the players to spice things up? Have some player choice in the mix, Clay. Now, to continue, Dragonfly. The true one that really doesn't make any sense to me, considering how her larvae are indeed true mobs and are essentially just grumblebees in different contexts. In short, no. Unfortunately, the Startling Soliloquy will not work against the larvae. But all I'm saying is that it'd be awesome if it did, for the exact reasons of the Fuel Weaver fight. It's a shame. Every time we think we could have a new way to engage in combat within this game with aging combat, all the good stuff doesn't work or isn't even implemented. But hold up, Beard. What about the moose that looks like a goose? She has minions, doesn't she? Oh, she does. And these bloody demon spawns simply cannot be contained. Oddly though, and I didn't mention this during the larvae, but it applies to them as well, the song does actually work on them, but it doesn't do anything. And what I mean is, the mask that appears above the heads of mods indicating that the effect has taken place does show up in those two cases, while it doesn't show up above the Fuel Weaver's woven shadows. So I don't really know what Clay is playing at. What does work, what applies, what doesn't, and why. Because some things just don't make sense at all. And honestly, I feel it's because the entire system is broken from top to bottom. Some songs are quote-unquote permanent, while others cost instant amounts of inspiration. However, both will always require bigger enemies to matter, as inspiration grows too slowly otherwise, and drains far too quickly beyond that. Plus, one can easily argue that half the songs don't matter, and that casuals, heck, most veterans, aren't even gonna bother. No, seriously. Have you not noticed how I even set out today to prove how good Startling Soliloquy is, only to end on notes like these? Sure, in select cases, it can be fun and different to use, and I thank all those who helped me film this video here today. However, we can all admit that we could have killed all of these bosses without any songs at all in a time fast enough that any song wouldn't have mattered anyways. That is the problem with the Wigfrid Rework, everyone. These buffs are for group play, but group play negates the buffs. All the while, solo Wigfrids are completely useless if they want to sing them for themselves, especially when it comes to medium and even small mobs. It's a net zero rework, and that's not an opinion, unfortunately. I can prove all of it, but it's probably time to move on, I think. Unless, of course, you want to see how the songs impact followers, and or you wish for me to further elaborate on the faults of the rework. But whatever the case, I again thank those who helped me today. I hope you enjoy the rework, as that's the only thing that matters, and who cares what I think. I am happy Wigfrid is still Wigfrid at the end of the day, and I'll see ya in the next one. Bye-bye.